Hello everyone and welcome to Gurung's classes. Today from class 10 EVS we'll be doing food. Now you all know very well food is an integral part of all living organisms, okay, because all living organisms, okay, they require food. Why? Okay, to grow, to live, okay, and to reproduce, because food is a source of energy. With the help of food only, the body can reproduce, the body can grow, the body can repair, okay, or the body can reproduce also, or an organism can reproduce, in fact, okay. For example, green plants, they photosynthesize. For why? Okay, for what? They photosynthesize so that they can prepare food, and that food is utilized for growth, for for reproduction, for repairing, okay, for growth of the plant. For example, animals, a tiger hunts a deer, or a deer eats grass. For why? Okay, because for a tiger, deer is a food, for deer, grass is a food. Food is an essential part, integral part of human being, or not only human being, all living organisms, okay. Now when we come to human beings, long time back, when agriculture was not there, when human beings did not know how to grow plants, how to how to rear animals. In fact, let's go back to that. Then before agriculture, human beings used to domesticate wild animals, okay, and slowly the wild animals became domesticated, and then they started rearing cow, buffaloes, okay, or hen, okay, ducks, fine, goats, in fact, sheep, camels, in fact. Before that also, what they used to do was, there was a different system of a different lifestyle that was known as hunting and gathering. The very old type or the lifestyle, that or the mode of existence, in fact what we can use the term is mode of existence, whereby human beings, they used to survive, because at that time there was no language also. At that time they used to live in the jungles, they used to wander from place to place, okay, and then they used to feed upon, especially, actually they used to hunt, okay, they used to hunt, the men used to go to the jungle and they used to bring the hunt, okay, and then that they used to share in the family, okay. At that time they did not know what is agriculture, what is domestication of animals. Slowly sorry, domestication of animals came into existence, that is known as pastoralism, whereby rearing of animals were there for meat, okay, meat, flesh, skin, okay, for bones, for trade also. Later on, the woman, what they used to do was, they used to gather the fruits, the seeds, okay, the nuts, the resins, the herbs, medicines, flowers from the jungle. So maybe slowly, okay, they had that culture developed within themselves of agriculture, or of domesticating plants also, or growing plants. So first, actually, it is the root or the source is the jungle only. Yes or no? Okay, from the wild only. From the wild, slowly, human beings slowly domesticated animals and started agriculture. Okay, now it has become an integral part of human being. Without agriculture, now we cannot sustain. Those scientific methods are there, whereby they are trying other methods also, but then also, in order to survive, still now we follow agriculture, we are dependent upon agriculture. Yes, the method of agriculture again has changed from the prehistoric time to now, okay, till date, because agriculture, if we see, the agriculture in the very beginning was all traditional method. Means the bulls were used, okay, to plow the field, or even humans also, where bulls are not possible, humans, they plow the field, okay, or the irrigation method also, channeling the water from the river, okay, or depending upon the season, the rain, the climate, okay, not knowing about the soil quality, not knowing about the pH level of the soil, not knowing about what type of agriculture should be conducted in that particular area, what type of crops should be grown, how to save the crops, how to protect the crops from pests, from or to how to prevent growing of weeds. So all these things were unknown to them, so they simply used to grow plants, agriculture used to be done, and it was all dependent upon the nature, the weather, the climate of that particular place. Okay, but now when we talk about the modern system of agriculture, it has totally changed. Yes or no? Modern system of agriculture means all it has been mechanized, all scientific methods are applied. Okay, all new seeds are there. Okay, and the use of machines are there, scientific knowledge are there, even soil testing is done. After soil testing, it is declared whether which crop is to be grown in that soil and how to alternate the crops. Okay, instead of totally going for monoculture, or instead of growing only one culture, one type of crop, how to go for alternate cropping or mixed cropping or mixed farming. Okay, or scientific farming, and how to help the crops to grow better. Seeds are available nowadays in the market, whereby long time back the seeds that were used were all wild variety seeds. Okay, so they had certain defects also, so and they were easily eaten by pests, also eaten by or attacked by other animals also, insects also. But nowadays such seeds are available, such scientifically prepared saplings are there, seedlings are there, whereby they are resistant to pests also. Okay, so this is how the history, or this is how the evolution of agriculture has taken place. But when we say the world, India also, when India was independent in 1947, and India was very poor at that time. Economically also India was very poor, and from the food point of view also, since India was very poor, it was unable to feed the huge population. And on top of that, in the 60s time, India suffered a huge hit by drought, and famine was there. So India was suffering a lot. But at that time, even the world also was suffering, because at that time the population was growing. And even in Mexico also, in 1940, in Mexico also, Mexico was struggling to feed its growing population. So at that time there was a professor, his name was Norman Borlaug was there. His name was Norman Borlaug. So he and his team, he started developing, they worked upon a special type of wheat. Okay, and that wheat that wheat was hybridized. It was crossed with other varieties, and then it took several years, and near about in the year 1960, Norman Borlaug was successful in producing a special type of wheat which was short in height. Okay, it was pest resistant also. Okay, and in fact it produced huge amount of grains. So that helped Mexico to fight over the scarcity of food, and that was the onset, that was the start of green revolution in the world. And India at that time was still struggling. So when India came to know that in Mexico, Norman Borlaug, a scientist, has developed a high yielding variety, HYV, high yielding variety of wheat. Okay, and at that time Professor M.S. Swaminathan was also there in India. He and his team was sent to Mexico to see that high yielding variety of wheat, and later on they went there and they brought that wheat, okay, the HYV, the high yielding variety, high HIGS, high yielding variety. The high yielding variety of wheat was brought to India, and it was crossed with the Indian variety. And Professor M.S. Swaminathan, he was successful in producing HYV variety of wheat in India, and that was when planted in India, it grew so well, it produced huge amount of wheat. And that was the start of green revolution in India in 1967-68. Until 1998, India had a surplus production of wheat and rice grain. Okay, so those years were marked as green revolution and in India. Okay, so for that Professor M.S. Swaminathan was given an award also. Okay, now, and he is one of the 20 most influencing Asian in the world. Now, when we talk about high yielding variety, definitely it helped the agriculture a lot. It helped in producing huge amount of result, okay, and help in coping with the scarcity of food. As a result, plants were able to grow in any condition. Okay, so huge amount of population were fed by the country. Okay, so agriculture that also scientifically done, okay, was successful in meeting of the demand of the people, okay, the need of the common man. But okay, now if you talk about agriculture, okay, how this high yielding variety were grown, or how this okay, how these high yielding varieties, okay, were grown. They were grown in huge number, okay, in a huge field. So that is known as what? Monoculture. So that means at one go huge amount of such plants were grown, so that when they ripe, okay, huge amount of such plants could be made available to feed the huge growth, huge number of people. So that is known as monoculture. Mechanization, and it was supported by machines like tractors, like sprinklers, like sprayers were there, or big trolleys were there, pumps were there. Okay, so they help the farmers, okay, or the agriculturalist, okay, to work upon that huge hectares of land easily, because humans in those huge plot of land, the human labor is not possible. Next is irrigation. Scientifically, irrigation method was also done, because when the rain-fed river is there, and from the river, when irrigation is channelized to the field, that is season based. Okay, when the river dries up, or when the water level falls down, then the irrigation also, the channel also dries up. It's better. Nowadays pumps are made. Yes or no? Boring is done, whereby the water, with the help of electric pumps, nowadays water can be supplied in the field throughout the day, okay, throughout the year, in fact. So it was the agriculture was not based upon in the season or the rain. Another is very important, chemical fertilizers. Now see, chemical fertilizers, these fertilizers, they were helping the plants to grow. Why? Because in the soil, all those nutrients were not present in the soil. So the absent nutrients were provided by the fertilizers, like potassium, or like phosphorus, or like nitrogen. So chemical fertilizers, they help the plants to grow, because it was as a supplement given to the plants. Okay, along with that, the chemical pesticides were helping the plants to prevent the plants from pest, because normally a plant, when grows organically, okay, then the pests, the small insects and all, they eat the plants. So by spraying pesticides also, the plants were kept safe, okay, from these pests. So all these methods were applied to help the plant grow, okay, in the best possible ways, so that a better result, okay, more percentage of the fruit is available, agriculture is available, result is available, in order to feed huge amount of population. But the green revolution has certain side effects also, like plant diseases. The high yielding varieties of the plants are very, very susceptible to diseases. Okay, it was very easy for them to catch diseases. So that was why, okay, and suppose monoculturing is done, and then in a big agricultural field only one type of plant is grown. Suppose one plant catches disease, and then the whole lot can catch disease. So it was very what we can say is the susceptible, in fact, prone to diseases, in fact. Number 2 is harming other. Okay, another point that we need to discuss is harming other organisms. These high yielding varieties, when they grew, they took all the nutrients from the soil, and then they were hindering the growth of the other plants, other native plants, other indigenous plants. So harming of the other organism. Another is biomagnification. Now bio means biotically magnified in the trophic level. How these chemicals, okay, they entered the plants, and okay, they remained there inside the plant body, and when these plants body were eaten by other animals, other organisms, these chemicals entered those organisms and again accumulated there and started showing adverse effect in those organisms. This is known as biomagnification. For example, a plant, suppose has 1 gram of certain any chemical, okay, that has entered through the food chain. Then suppose another organ, suppose a deer or a goat eats that, then for example, suppose 10, suppose one plant has 1 gram of such chemical, suppose 10 such plants are eaten by a goat. Inside the goat there is a chance of having 10 grams of that chemical. So that chemical will affect the organism. Again, human being eats the goat, again that chemical will enter the human being in a magnified way. Okay, so again human beings will be affected, various diseases can be seen. So that is known as biomagnification. Okay, now another eutrophication was also seen, whereby these fertilizers, when when it rained, it was carried out by the rain in the nearby water bodies, and the water bodies, the algae that were present in the water bodies, got ready-made food, and they grew very fast, just like the plants, okay, covering the whole river, covering the whole pond with algae, which is known as algal bloom. So because of this algal bloom, the sunlight was blocked, okay, that could not penetrate, okay, inside the water, and as a result the underwater plants and animals were affected. That eventually led to the death of the pond, which is known as eutrophication. Okay, so in the nearby, so in the later on we'll discuss about, so that is why a new method again is developed without harming the environment, agriculture, how agriculture is done, that is known as sustainable agriculture. Okay, so that we'll discuss in the coming days. Okay, so thank you very much.